To our fourth panelist, who's just arrived, and we're delighted she's able to join us from far away. Sepideh Pooraghaiee is a journalist and a human rights activist from Iran. Because of her work trying to report the truth of what's happening in Iran, she was jailed for 110 days in Evin prison. Eventually, she continued to write about what was happening. She wrote about the government's crackdown in 2009 after there were protests about the election that were seen to be fraudulent. She was writing about that until she got a phone call from someone in the government threatening her, and she felt it was time that she had to go, and she escaped and eventually found asylum in France. Continues to be very active for the cause of human rights in Iran. We're very honored that Sepideh is with us here today. She's going to speak in French, but if there's questions afterwards in English, you can do questions and answers in English. Sinon, je vais traduire.
J'essaie.
Okay, sinon je traduis pour vous.
D'accord.
So I apologize that we don't have interpretation here, but we're going to have she'll speak in French, but afterwards we can interpret back and forth in French and English for the questions and answers. Thank you, Sepideh. S'il vous plaît.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Sepideh Pooraghaiee. Je suis née le 12 août 1978 à Kermanshah, en Iran. Je suis de nationalité iranienne. J'exerce la profession de journaliste à Téhéran. Je suis mariée à M. Shirzadian en 1900.
You know what? Je vais traduire. I'm going to translate.
Ah, d'accord.
Okay. My name is Sepideh Pooraghaiee. I was born in 1978 in Kermanshah in Iran. I'm of Iranian nationality. I have the profession of a journalist, and I'm married to Mr. Gazem Shirzadian.
En 1999, j'ai adhéré à l'Organisation des étudiantes unies de l'Université Azad de Téhéran. C'est à cette même période qu'est survenue l'attaque au campus de la grande université de Téhéran.
In 1999, I joined the student organization at the University Azad in Tehran. It was during the same period where there was an attack on the campus in the Grand University of Tehran.
En 2000, dans cette organisation, j'ai commencé en tant que journaliste du Gozarech Eros, dirigé par M. Tabarzadi, ingénieur, journaliste critique et responsable politique.
In the year 2000, in this organization, I began working as journalist for the newspaper, journal?
Oui, oui, oui.
Yeah, for a publication called Gozarech, which was led by Mr. Tabarzadi, who was an engineer and a journalist and a political figure.
En 2001, suite aux fermetures des journaux indépendants et réformateurs selon l'ordre du guide suprême Khamenei, j'ai été convoqué et interrogé par le tribunal révolutionnaire, emprisonné 2 fois. La détention a été répartie sur 4 semaines, respectivement dans les prisons du service judiciaire de l'armée et du service du ministre des renseignements, cellule 209 de la prison de Ville.
In the year 2001, following the closing of independent newspapers and reformist newspapers by order of the Supreme Guide, Ayatollah Khamenei, I was summoned and interrogated by the Revolutionary Tribunal. I was imprisoned 2 times, and the detention lasted for 4 weeks in various prisons of the judicial service, of the army, and of the intelligence ministry. And I was in the notorious Evin prison in cell number 209.
Je suis finalement sorti avec 1 an de liberté conditionnelle décidé par le juge Haddad.
I was finally released under 1-year probation, conditional sentence, issued by Judge Haddad.
Malgré la liberté conditionnelle, j'ai écrit pour le journal Aban sous la direction de M. Hassan Alipour et le journal mensuel Gozarech sous la direction de M. Abolgassen Golba.
Despite this, conditional liberty and this being on probation, I continued to write for the newspaper Aban under the direction of Mr. Hassan Alipour, and for the weekly newspaper Gozarech under the direction of Mr. Golbaf Agbol Gazem.
Après, Madame Shivra Nazarali, ma collègue et meilleure amie et moi, nous avons créé le comité des reporters, des défenseurs des droits de l'homme.
After the closure of this newspaper, Madame Shiva Nazar Ahari, my colleague and best friend, we created a committee of reporters to defend human rights.
En 2005, j'ai commencé à travailler pour le groupe démocrate iranien avec des idées laïques.
In the year 2005, I began to work for the Democratic Iranian group, which was a secular group.
Le 9 septembre 2007, mon mari et moi, ainsi que 4 membres du comité central du parti, nous avons été arrêtés et emprisonnés.
On the 9th of September 2007, my husband and I, as well as 4 other members of this central committee, we were arrested and imprisoned.
J'ai passé 60 jours en isolement complet avec les interrogations sans fin et de torture psychique. Oui.
I spent 60 days in complete isolation with endless interrogations and with psychological torture.
Insultes, interrogations à minuit, menaces.
I experienced insults, midnight interrogation, and threats.
J'ai à peine dormi sous la forte lumière pour faire perdre la notion du temps qui passe, les yeux systématiquement bandés, des